And we are live. IronLordPodcast, Lord Cognito here. And who is this fine gentleman in the realm of Gamescom LA?
I'm not sure if you got the right guy referring to fine gentleman, but my name is Kevin, and I am with Stoic Studio. The pleasure of being with Stoic, pleasure of speaking with you today. And I run communications at Stoic and have the job of just helping communicate on behalf of one of the best teams in gaming.
Stoic, storied history, Banner Saga, one of my favorite games. Absolutely love that game. So for all those in the realm, my audience, that have no idea what Towerborne is, please tell us, what is Towerborne?
Well, what I appreciate you started with is, Stoic does have a history that is known by those who know Banner Saga. And the expectation of the care and depth that we put into our games, this is the next IP that we're working on. And Towerborne is something we'd like to say we built because it's something we want to play with our family and friends, and it is a cooperative, side-scrolling game that is inspired by some legendary brawlers. So you're going to have a combat style that will feel new. You'll have a game loop that will feel new, and the core of the game is an action RPG.
Nice.
So we were talking about, you and me were talking about this earlier, right? We were talking about that Destiny vibe of, playing with your friends.
You already speak about that. You said Destiny. You're already speaking my language.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So you've got a situation where that same core loop that is bringing players back over a live service game, is happening now in this format that a lot of us do love and are used to, but haven't seen done in this way. So that's what we're excited about.
No, it's awesome. And one thing that stood out to me immediately when I looked at it was just the art style. It just speaks to me. So again, I'm getting a little Diablo, I'm getting a little Castle Crashes, I'm getting a little Destiny, and then you got the cooperative aspect. So tell me about kind of bringing that into the fold from cooperative and then marrying this art style with it.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I appreciate that question. I mean, one of the things that, and I come back to this, where Stoic has come from, right? There was such intention behind the way that we animated and concepted what we wanted the art of the Banner Saga to be, right? So when we started with this game, we absolutely were inspired by legendary artwork and styles we would find in Studio Ghibli, Miyazaki's work, right?
Oh, nice.
Those types of things. And the game has had iterations, right? Obviously, 2 dimensions versus 3 dimensions is a different way to...
Yeah, which is very interesting with this game, because I thought it would just be a 2D game. Sorry to cut you, but I thought it would be just a 2D game. And not only are you going side to side, you're going in the foreground, the background. There's a lot of perspective. But continue answering your first question.
Yeah, no. Look, it's a great point, and it's something that, like, the evolution of the game itself, like where it started and where it is, we've taken a lot of care over time, and we're lucky to have partners in Xbox that have given us that ability. But where it's gone is that game, that side scroller kind of loop that we're used to, that gameplay that we're used to, those dimensions give us the ability to explore these biomes in a much more dramatic and kind of story depth way. We really do feel like the world building we're doing with the art is part of this game. And what I'm excited about, you and I talked about, right? In Destiny, you've got this situation where every time the world expands, you have this experience that expands with it, right? You can jump in with your friends and PvE and explore different pockets that make the game new, but feels still familiar in the ways that you love. So we're hopeful that the way that we thought through how we would make the game look and feel, right, is something that will make that feel real. And I got to plug too, in addition to the visuals that a lot of folks are seeing in trailers and some of your gameplay, this is original soundtrack. Right,
nice.
Like all of that element of it is something that's really intentional. I'd like to say this is, everyone can get ready to put this on their Spotify playlists.
The tracks. We got music like that. Okay, you let y'all know the music is hitting y'all.
Yeah, it's on mine though. It's what I would do. So So there's the care taken there. Like what I'm excited about is you can expect that in the updates to come too over the course of the game.
Speaking of updates, we saw a decision made in reference to the beta and how it's going to, obviously Xbox fans, knew about this game for some time, and then now we saw a decision as far as the Steam involvement. Can you take us through that process for us making that decision? Because some of the Xbox brothers they're feeling a little bit of a way that how come we don't get experience it first. But what's your thought process behind that?
No, I appreciate that. I want to tell everyone too, like I'm on the Xbox train as a player. I have been since I was a kid, and it's a really good question, and it's something that we want to be really open about and have this conversation. We as a studio, in partnership with Xbox, we've got an ability to build the game to the most prolific ways that we want to, right? Part of that means being on Xbox. However, at the same time, what we are intentional about doing is bringing a core group of those self-selected, whether it's Stoic fans or whether folks who want this game to do well, to jump in via Steam and start to give us that feedback and build with us. Now, to say this to all Xbox folks out there, when we blow the doors open early 2025 with Xbox Game Preview, right? That's going to be a ton more players. And to be, frank, like what we're looking to do is build something and tune it so it is just as good as it can be in that moment. I'll say this in like a big picture way. Like we all who play games, we see games that come out and we know they can be tuned, right?
That part.
Yes. So let's say the obvious, right? Okay. So as we iteratively try to do that, we have these little step changes of, okay, you know what? We know that not just our studio can't be just the marker of, is this game balanced, right? So as that comes out on Steam, we're going to be able to balance the game and tune the game, so when we blow the doors open, all of a sudden there is a solid foundation for Xbox players. Gotcha. That's the idea. And I'll say one more thing about it. And because of the nature of our relationship, with Xbox as a studio, and we're proud to have it, we are also retaining that ability to help ensure the players progress no matter the platform. Gotcha. So it will be, guaranteed that cross-platform progression will be intact. So if you buy a Founders Pack and you jump into Steam and you pay that money, you're going to get cosmetics, emotes, etc. that will be on your Xbox if you choose to be. If you are, one of those players that flips from, goes from Steam to Xbox.
No, that's big in a sense because again, one thing I didn't realize, learning about Towerborne was that cross progression was part of it, right? I thought again it's just strictly the Xbox only game. So framing it from that perspective, with crossplay and I'm assuming cross progression, that I could understand the level. Okay, we want to get the Steam base to be familiar with that as well as we integrate. And another thing that you surprised me with was the fact that we're doing local co-op.
That's right.
In Towerborne.
That's right. Yep.
And this local co-op can also play online. Is that correct?
That's exactly right. That's right. So eventually, when this game is, its foundations are built and strong from day one. The intention is, and look, those who know. Those of us, Turtles in Time.
Now you're talking the heartstrings. Now those are the heartstrings.
It's really clear in this game, right? So you can pick the game up with one other friend, get online and play with two individuals in different parts of the world, or your buddies that are on their couch, if you will. So absolutely, that's the intention. And look, for your audience, for people that are listening to this, people that like these kinds of games, it's going to be obvious that that hasn't happened really. Like that's something that we've been missing. It's where the question comes from, right? So I think that part of it, we're not just proud of, we're excited to play. To play ourselves, yeah. No,
awesome, man. And that's really cool to hear. And for me, one thing that I like from what I played, again, you had our basic combat, we had our cooperative combat. We had almost, again, for people who played Destiny, you almost had the Umbra, that almost like a ghost. Almost feels like the ghost in Destiny that gives you these other special abilities. Right. I saw combos, attacks, things of that nature. And then I saw a boss confrontation, right? So again, are we talking from a questing standpoint, should we expect more of this type of game loop? Is there different aspects to Towerborne? Or that's kind of like the core gameplay, questing with your friends, fighting these amazing bosses? Or is it other things that I'm not even realizing that's part of the Towerborne experience?
These questions are so good that I'm about to... I see why your audience is following you, or why your listeners are listening to you. All right, so look... not only so let's start with the base, right?
Yeah, start the basic loop.
So we've got we have a map that'll exist when you start playing, that will expand, right? Again, think Destiny, we're going to expand that world and different places to go, different biomes as we call them, and you're already seeing some of those beautiful shots of the different biomes that we've got in the game. As that happens, right now, you'll jump in, play with your friends, get to some bosses. get some loot, right? The way that those experiences expand and can be augmented, absolutely, that is something we're thinking about. So, for example, what kind of puzzles do we bring into the game, and what kind of loot are those associated with? What kinds of bosses? What kinds of tiers? But absolutely, and I want to make mention too, and it's something as a Destiny player myself, I'm very excited about. The combos in the game of your gear and your Umbra, your spirit.
A little guy, that's my man, that's my guy. I like that.
Exactly. He's looking out for you. Yeah. The combinations here give you an ability to swap out your style on the fly. And
on the fly.
On the fly. And yeah, and if I'll tell you a little bit more about that. We were just talking about that earlier. So the customization in this game, I mean, I'm like smiling because I'm delighted by it already. You have this ability you can look however you want, whenever you want, and swap that out immediately. So there's.
I think that was the guy I was playing with, like the sword and shield, the one that had like I press right bumper and I can kind of reflect attacks.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
We'll go through them real quickly. So the sword and shield, like you've got the ability to parry and block, right? So that parry, you've got that real-time ability to reflect attacks and attack back. With gauntlets, you've got ability to wind up on one of your specials too. So these 4 classes are not just different style weapons, but the same moves. They're completely different move set, combo set. So we've got developers on our team that are fighting game experts. So now all of a sudden you're inviting this sort of combat loop that changes per class. And coming back to that original question, you can swap classes out on the fly.
Nice.
And then in addition to that, you can swap your character look, like as you're mentioning. Like in our lore, there's reasons for that, and you can change what kind of eyes you have. You can change the nature of your hair. You change everything on the fly.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. If you want to be blue, you can be blue. If you want to be, have horns, you can have horns. So yeah, to be honest with you, I'm excited about, and for anyone who jumps into the game, I am so sure we are going to be blown away by the stuff people come up with. So that's pretty exciting.
No, that's pretty cool. And then back to the question in reference to like the gameplay loop. You said that will evolve, that will change, more biomes will happen, things of that nature. Will we get like, I don't want to say raids, but like dungeons or any harder end game content? Or for now, we're keeping it questing with your buddies, we don't want to get too complex, and we're doing mission and a deep story?
Well, I'll say this. Right now, defending humanity and braving the wilds with your friends, there is a lot of in early access itself, I'm proud to say, like, you'll have that core loop where you'll get that dynamism, and you can expect that to be deep and variable depending on what part of the map you're on, etc. The question on how different and how complex will it get? I mean, the sky's the limit. We intend to pull more classes into the game, more weapons into the game, more combinations that are possible. And so for us, this is something we're excited about, and the intention behind that September 10th early access moment too is for us to feel out with players, like, what do you like? What's interesting? What should we focus our attention on? How do we work not just on balancing and tuning, because there will be that,
Oh yeah, it better be that.
Something about Stoic, this is in our DNA to work with players. If you're Banner Saga fans, that's what we did from Kickstarter in day one.
It's my heart right there. I love Banner Saga.
It's a special place for that reason, and as we get that feedback, the way that we build out that depth and the complexity in those missions and what's possible, I mean, really, Destiny players out there will know over the course of a decade, there's a lot that's possible. And we're thinking about the long view, and I come back to what Xbox's partnership with us has unlocked for us and given us the ability to do is to think about that long term. And it's something that I'm proud of as well. The way that we will monetize in this game, we have a commitment that is upfront. You will pay for only cosmetics, emotes, things that will not help you in the power progression.
I can't pay to win.
You cannot, sir. Maybe your listeners can tell me if that's something you're used to doing. But sorry, you won't find that. You had
to call me out like that, okay?
Yeah. Well, we should play together. I'll get your play style. We'll figure it out together. But yeah, you will not be able to. And look, just to be straight with everyone. Look, I like Destiny. I play these games. It does not feel good when the game treats you like you're walking into Vegas. And we believe there's real value to deliver to players. We want to delight players with emotes, with different ways to customize your character. And we've seen games do really well, being intentional about that. And like we have no other interest in doing the same.
No, this is awesome, man. I love the approach. I love the philosophy. I guess my final question in reference is to the lore and how, for the lore guys, the guys that want this really deep story, is there something that they can look forward to as far as Towerborne?
Yeah. So first of all, I love that question. I'll just say personally, like I am a story games guy. It's one of the reasons I came to Stoke. You and me feel the same way about that, right? When it comes to Banner Saga. There are a couple things I want to say. First of all, some of the intention behind the beginnings of this game build, which happened years ago, around the world that we're in, that has stayed in its core elements, which is going to be felt by players. The world itself is a character, right? In addition to that, when we think about the genre, the nature of a live service game, what we want to do is leave some of that story to how the game unfolds over time. So there will be a intention and a rationale for your ace, your character, right, of going beyond the Belfry and into the wilds to fight monsters, uncover mysteries, and defend humanity. But as the game progresses, chapters will unfold. You will have this ability to sort of understand why certain classes and weapons, etc., are now in the game. And in a way, like when you have a tremendous amount of when you have a live service game like this, the idea that you have a story that exists but can be built upon is important. And we want the game to be great, and then that will give us the license to go deeper in the story, And that is we don't want that to get in the way of just making this game fun to play. And yeah, so I believe that anyone picking it up, it's a great family game to for kids and parents to play. It's also a great game to jump with your friends and troll over who's getting more loot. Like that definitely is that's how some of us might play Destiny, and that story will deepen as we go. And I mean I'm excited for that. So yeah.
This is awesome. Loving what I'm hearing. I think that aspect of it's really cool. Surprised me with all the depth to the game. And I did just think about something really quickly. I did forgot. As far as how handling progression. Say, for example, as a Destiny players, you got guys who play every day and they're consistent, and then maybe someone that is casual that jumps in, jumping out. Are you keeping those things in mind as far as people that come in, come out, but maybe not be as consistent as the hardcore? Is there an easy way for them to onboard, or is it just jump in, jump? Like, how is that handled, so to speak?
It's a good question. Like the game's entry points are so intentionally built to be pick up, play accessible. That is something that we wanted because of where we wanted this game to exist in the hearts and minds of anyone playing. So the idea that something like a Destiny, like a Warframe, right? Okay. These games are well, my point there is like those are a little more complex. So it's harder, to your point, right? It's harder to just pick up and get in. Some of your listeners here are going to obviously be some of those folks that are making those YouTube beginner tutorials, which, by the way, thank you for that. I'm not sure that I could get into new games without y'all, but it won't be as steep of a curve, right, for that reason. Now, the idea that over time you are able to jump in and not feel like you're behind, one thing that's really interesting here is like this is a PvE game. So if you think about Destiny, right, if you're behind, you're like, oh, well, I don't have the latest thing and that's going to, I'm going to walk in any Crucible match getting axed or Gambit just getting totally wrecked because I don't even know what that gun is because I was on vacation or whatever, right? So that type of deal is actually something that's not, it's not a pressure for this game.
Because of the PvE only focus.
Exactly. And so now you've got that ability, that sort of, because of that, you have still that ARPG loop that feels good, but not without potentially some of those other elements that come into it. So I think that'll help as well.
Awesome. You've answered a lot of my questions, man. I mean, Towerborne, I'm super pumped, super excited. Love the feel of the game. Played it. It felt good. It looked good. The potential's awesome. Obviously, we got September to look forward to as far as the Steam and the beta and stuff like that. Obviously, Xbox community, you're getting the game. Cross-play, cross-progression, co-op. I'm excited, man. Any final thing you want to say to the realm of the lords who, are looking out for Towerborne?
Well, let me say to the realm, come play our game. Jump in early access if you can. Want to help us build the game, and if we see you on the free-to-play side of it, I'm excited to have you on board and excited to play with you. It is a special game, and it's gonna be fun.
An absolute pleasure here with the Lords of Stoic. Towerborne coming soon. Iron Lord Proof. Keep your eye out for this one. It says Destiny fans, Warframe fans, that's you, Flame. Go check that out. Peace.
Thanks, guys.